Hello, this is Phil
And Nick.
We're just doing our E3. What are we calling this?
Yeah, kind of just E3 discussions on different trailers and
E3
stuff.
discussions, I guess. Yeah. This is on the new Legend of Zelda for the Wii U. Well, let's just jump straight into it. This game is graphically just phenomenal. We were saying before, Uncharted 4 looks like the best graphical game. This looks prettiest, I think. Color-wise and
It is absolutely
Yeah.
stunning. And it's because I think because of the limitations of the Wii U, they just do like completely different styles of
Yeah.
gameplay. They need to do really stylistic choices, and the way they're going up with Mario Kart 8 and into Zelda, making things a lot more kind of like
bright and vivid, so it doesn't need that fine detail. It's more like an anime.
Yeah.
It doesn't need those pinpoint details like you see someone's elbow perfectly, but you need the emotion, you need the lighting, you need the sort of like, it's more about environment detail. I noticed in this, there's you can see individual blades of grass, and there's flowers within that grass and animals running through it. And
it's similar to what happened in the GameCube era with Wind Waker. Because they made it all cell shaded. They had a lot more memory to get all the emotions, and the Wind Waker is still the most emotional Link,
because he's got the most sort of detail in his face. Skyward Sword attempted that, but simply because of the graphical style and the limitations of the Wii, it couldn't really get that across. Whereas the GameCube, it worked because Link's head was so big. But just looking at this shot that Eiji Onuma first sort of shows us, it's incredible. And I found out this is entirely in-game footage. This is all in-game engine. It's not like pre-rendered or anything like that. It is what you will actually see and play, sort of thing. It was just like Jesus, and
this is a PS4 game.
Yeah, graphically, I would say this would be, if this was on the PS4, I think everyone would be like, wow, look at those graphics.
Yeah,
it's
stunning.
It's not out of place on quotation marks next gen consoles. Or something, And going into some finer details of what you can see here. If you look over to the left, you can sort of see the reflection of water. It's probably like Lake Hylia or something like that.
Yeah.
And you've got a
Azure domain.
Something like, because you've got a big sort of, looks like a waterfall in the distance on the left, and on the right you've got things like Death Mountain. Well, what we're assuming Death Mountain is a massive volcano. Maybe change the names. And you've got, you can see how many hills and mountains and how differently leveled the environment is. It's just so much detail and difference in the environment that it would just be incredible to explore it.
Well, what they wanted to get across is this is all open world. You can approach anything from any angle.
The trailer opened with sort of like a discussion from Eiji Onuma talking about Wind Waker and how that game was created to feel open world.
Yeah.
But really, you can only enter from certain spots and leave from certain spots, and it was. Although Wind Waker's map was, especially for the time, very big. That map takes a long time to get across. It was all small islands, so although it felt big, it really wasn't that big. Because if you probably connected all of those islands, it probably wouldn't look that big at all. But this one, as you can see, this looks like Skyrim level size maps.
I was going to say about that. This is
Elder Scrolls. Well, someone said, my girlfriend said it was Elder Scrolls The Legend of Zelda or something like that, because it looks like that sort of size.
And the way with that big enemy, does that mean bosses on the field could attack you at any time?
That's what I was interested in. When you first come into Hyrule Field and Ocarina of Time, to your left is like quite a big monster sort of thing.
Yeah.
This is kind of reminiscent of. And can you just imagine walking through a field and all of a sudden one of those things attacks you?
Let's going back to the Skyrim comparison. That obviously in that game dragons can pop out pretty much any time. Does that mean like a massive enemy could just
just
pop down?
That's what's going to happen. Twilight Princess kind of touched on environmental bosses sort of thing. You would get remember the boss where you fight him on the bridge sort of thing. That big battle before that was in the environment, but it did load into it sort of thing. But this looks like you were just running along and look, there's a massive whatever the fuck that thing is, and it attacks you.
Firing Kamehamehas at you.
Yeah. Speaking of that boss as well, I mean, it looks very fast paced. That is not what Zelda's normally like in speed wise. Like, I mean, he was just firing lasers left, right, and center, and Link's running and dodging and going mental to get away from him, sort of thing. And
a great combat system.
Yeah, I'm thinking that as well, because also he jumps off his horse at the end, doesn't he, and like fires the arrow, which
as if it is a he.
As if it's a he. Yes, this is something that's been going around the internet the past couple of days, isn't it? People are thinking it might be a female Link, or even possibly.
The first time I saw it, I did think it was a girl.
Yeah, it's a very very feminine looking.
But
Link
the way, if you see how Link pulls the bow and stuff, it's all very feminine. Like the way he moves, is it Link?
Yeah, it could be someone. I mean, like,
is it Zelda?
Yeah, I was thinking because Zelda in Skyward Sword, remember she looked a lot more. Well, her hair was like completely blonde, whereas in other games it was brown. So.
Yeah, because they're not wearing the signature tunic.
Yeah, so exactly. I mean, that was another thing I was curious about. What's written down is that his costume is, like in every Zelda game, you start off and you've got a different costume when you actually get, but. This one looks a lot more fully fledged. He's got detail in like his equipment and stuff. He's got a bow and arrow, and he's got a shield, and he rips his cloak off, sort of thing.
And it's a weird arrow as well. Maybe new kind of light arrows.
Before we jump onto the arrow, what was I going to say? I was thinking possibly maybe it's customizable clothing. Like you can wear whatever you want, sort of thing.
Maybe you could choose if you're a boy or girl.
Yeah, that would be quite cool as well.
There's nowhere saying that. Nowhere in the lore saying that Link. Has to be a boy.
Because I mean, the reason Link is called Link is it was meant to be the connection between the world and the player.
Yeah.
Link is just the avatar that you play. So why not make it that you can be?
Yeah, there's no stopping a female protagonist saving Zelda. If Zelda gets kidnapped.
Exactly. If Zelda's even in it, although I imagine she will be. But there has been a few games where she's not in it. But the oh god, drawn blank now.
You blank on Zelda?
Yeah, I know. I had a really good point to make, but it's gone now. Well, as I was going to point out about his equipment and stuff on him, he currently doesn't have a sword by the looks of things. It looks like maybe you get the bow and arrow first, and of course you've got this cool new looking arrow, whatever the hell it is.
That's what I think. Maybe it's like a weird kind of upgraded light arrow.
Yeah,
that could go against the
very cool.
Go against the Zelda theory.
Yeah.
Well, not against it, but kind of boost it. But it's weird because they shroud him. I don't know if it's because obviously you haven't seen Link yet.
Yeah.
But the whole hood, the hood reminds me of Zelda in Twilight Princess.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. There was a bit of a theory around the cloak online before, and it does. Especially when you first meet Zelda in Twilight Princess, she's wearing a cloak very similar to that.
Yeah.
I also had a theory behind this that is this directly after Skyward Sword, and this is the world building, because there's a lot of vast empty space.
Yeah.
By the looks of things, maybe this is how the world first starts getting built, because we know that there's a world up in the sky now. Maybe this is when we first sort of start getting like the connection between the two, or maybe it's the disparity between the two, because as we know they sort of become disconnected, and you don't hear of it in other games. But
then if they do have both worlds, Skyloft and Hyrule, does that mean you can have optional mounts? Can you ride the Loftwing?
That would be very cool, because he did say he wants to make it a very open, vast game. I'm pretty sure he said something about different travel, so it'd be great if you get a Loftwing up in the sky, you jump from the sky, you jump on a horse, and then maybe there's boats as well. I mean, I'd love to see some Wind Waker sailing back. I mean, people complain about Wind Waker sailing, but I found it peaceful.
Have Lake Hylia be massive?
Yeah.
And you ride around the boat.
That'd be... I'm so excited for this game. I mean, honestly, Nintendo could have shown just this clip for E3, and I think I would have still fucking can't wait.
The thing I wanted to talk about is when the boss character runs along, he is destroying the environment. Does that mean destructible environment?
Yeah, I thought that as well. If you notice when he first shoots at Link, the actual grass sort of rumbles from the explosion of it, and then things are on fire, and the bridge gets destroyed a little bit later on.
Rocks around the side start crumbling down.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe we are going to get some nice destructible environments. I mean, the thing is every time a game shows destructible environments, we're always disappointed by it. You look at Battlefield 3, for example, perfect example of destructible environments. Yeah. Oh, look, you can destroy this building if you do it this way.
Yeah.
Or you destroy only this one. Even Battlefield 4 tricked people with that. There's only certain buildings in the entire game that can do that, not all of them.
Yeah.
But, I mean, who knows? I mean, Nintendo often do things very well. I mean, like, you know, this is like what they're like third or fourth big HD game.
Yeah.
And look at it, you know, like maybe they've gotten some cool technique to do cool, interesting, destructible environments. But
the thing this is literally just popped into my head. The grass, how realistic it is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Does that mean you can't cut grass anymore?
Oh god, that'd be horrible. A Zelda game where you can.
What do you think? Because how realistic that is? Are they still going to have set areas where you can cut and get rupees?
Maybe.
Or is that gone completely?
Maybe it's going to be like sort of like Pokemon. You've got like the raised. Well, I mean, I guess like Zelda's always had grass, but it's always been flat, and then you have the cuttable bits. I don't know. Maybe you can just run along, just trimming hedges.
Just go around the whole world, just cutting it up. Like,
I'm so rich. I mean, imagine, you know, Christ, the life where you can earn that many rupees that quickly, where it's going with the sword. Much easier job.
And then people reacting to the hazards. So
yeah, the goats and the farmers and stuff about. Like, I was really impressed by that.
Like the AI is obviously been upgraded. Because usually if they got scared by something you whacked out, so they go and just kind of stand on the spot.
Yeah, remember when you like attack a person and they would just go.
So like now obviously people actually react.
Yeah.
So.
And it looks like they've. I don't know. I mean, it, like I said before, it looks Skyrim Zelda. It really does, and that is no way a bad thing. Because I mean, like Zelda games, like Twilight Princess, although it wasn't the best Zelda, the environment was so big that it felt very grand and epic, but it was empty. Yeah. Whereas this doesn't look like it's empty. This looks like it's very packed, and you know, it looks like you could. It looks like this is going to sort of be 100-hour plus game sort of thing in exploration alone.
Which I'd love.
Yeah, so would I.
I do not mind playing Zelda for hours and hours on it.
That's
the thing, like with Zelda games, they do have side quests, but they're not, except for Majora's Mask.
Yeah.
They're not entirely amazing.
Yeah,
they're not worth doing, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, like Majora's Mask, some of them you actually had to do because you had to get masks. But yeah, I mean, Skyward Sword in particular, like its side quests, there was nothing memorable. I mean, exploring the Sky World was really dull because it was
I hate it. I can't get through Skyward Sword, can I?
Yeah, you haven't completed Skyward Sword yet. I mean, personally, I have, and it is a fantastic game. But it's a fantastic game because of the story and the gameplay. The extras are kind of an afterthought. You know, like even exploring Skyloft, there's nothing to explore because when you go down to the ground and you hit those boxes, they tell you where treasure is, and you can't even go get them until you've done that. So,
That's the thing with Skyward Sword. You know me, I really don't get along with Skyward Sword. I don't like it. So I hate the fact that it was a dungeon within a dungeon.
Yeah, you didn't like the dungeony environments. Yeah,
I think I don't mind this if you can explore. Like the thing I love Twilight Princess, like the Hyrule Field because it was big.
Yeah,
it wasn't as big as Wind Waker, and I just love just riding around the horse. The optional enemy comes like you can just slice them up in one hit sort of thing, and you can do what you have to do. You don't have to think, and it takes away from that exploration for me. Like definitely. You don't have to. I don't want to think to get to the dungeon. I want to think when I'm in the dungeon.
Yeah,
you know, I want to have a kind of chill and just enjoy the environment, enjoy the atmosphere, and just kind of get there.
And especially with this new game, I mean, you're going to want to be able to take a break and just look at things. Yeah, I mean,
if I'm just constantly stuck there, having to whack my sword out and kind of aim. What's it called, dowsing?
Dowsing, that was boring. That's not interesting. You need to keep the action, or you need to keep the exploration. Dowsing, all it did was point you in the direction of the thing you needed to do. And it's like, okay, that's not really exploring, but
I know you love Skyward Sword.
Yeah,
personally, I can't get along with that game. I can any Zelda game, I usually love it. I can get through it. Like I've completed Wind Waker 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, so
Ocarina of Time. Obvious.
Yeah.
But Skyward Sword, I just can't get through it. I can't do it.
That's fair enough. I mean, that game got outstanding reviews sort of thing, but I can see why people didn't like it as well because it just was. Although in this trailer, for example, he goes on about going away from the conventions of Zelda. It felt like this Skyward Sword. He was trying to, but not quite doing it, and he was sort of like, I've got to do this. But the problem with it is. It felt more like a cross between a Zelda and a Metroid. I mean, if you play a little bit of Metroid,
I love Metroid.
That idea of everything is a puzzle has come straight from Metroid, and I think they even said in an early developer
it works in Metroid.
Yeah, because it's that kind of game. You've always experienced that with Metroid, but with Zelda, you've always Wind Waker. You jump in a boat, you sail. Where the fuck am I going?
But like in Metroid, you're in these enclosed environments for the most part.
Yeah.
And along, like, you have to figure out how to get into the next stage. You're going for enemy territory, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Hyrule Fall, yeah, it links in a kind of an unknown environment.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. But it is just, it's wide open.
Yeah.
Like I don't expect you just to be like in Skyward Sword, why are the areas like they're wide open, but they're really enclosed as well?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
you're almost walking down corridors, sort of thing, you know.
This is meant to be like a desolate world where hardly anyone's around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And then you're stuck in this little.
You're stuck in like these little mountain regions.
Exactly.
Like it just.
I mean, one of the areas that I enjoyed in Skyward Sword is the boat in the desert, because you can't explore it, but there was nothing there. It was just nice to go to explore properly. But
yeah, it's like you'll probably hate me for saying this, but like the thing is, I think the Skyloft stuff, like with him flying across the sky, I think that was completely pointless.
Yeah,
they should have had. I like the whole concept of the island going up into the air and they've been stuck up there. But why did you have that cloud barrier?
Yeah, that's
like, why couldn't you just have the loft wing and fly across the land?
Yeah, it was. I'd be fair. I mean, I think that's probably that
is limitations.
Limitation stuff. But yeah, I know exactly what you mean, Scott. Like, I liked riding the loft wing. You know, that was an interesting thing, and I liked the idea of flying and stuff. But there's nothing to do. It was just like, yeah, I'm flying to my next destination down on the ground. There was no reason to go anywhere with the loft wing, and it took away from exploration of Zelda, which is what it's all about.
Yeah.
But that is what in this trailer he was going, I really want to give that feeling of exploration.
Yeah.
And he really focused on that. So I'm getting the feeling this is going to be full land Wind Waker sized map, but possibly even bigger. You know.
Plus Epona's back.
Woo! Yeah. Although I did notice that Epona's hair is always white. Yeah. It's black on this horse. So maybe it's not opponent. But to be fair, you can probably call the horse whatever you like. So that can be interesting names again.
I did have something I wanted to talk about.
Should we jump on to sci-fi influence?
Sci-fi influence?
Yeah. Because when you saw like this massive monster with like these beady eyes and it was like shooting lasers at Link and stuff, and then you had that arrow which had like the blue sword sort of it. I mean, that instantly reminded me of things like Phantasy Star and Xenoblade Chronicles as well, because it's got that. It's history, but it's futuristic. You know, it's got that feeling to it, and I really enjoyed that. It's got.
And then it can make sense in the fact that we've seen robots in Zelda.
Yeah, and you can even. It looks inspired a lot by Twilight Princess, I felt, as well. You know, it's got that technology side to it.
Yeah, what I was feeling it's more inspired by Skyward Sword, as in those little robots. It could be their tech.
Oh, yeah.
Going into how they've obviously learned how to use that tech into the bow and arrows.
Because they had that like time traveliness to it, and they had their blue gems. Maybe
if I remember right, the robots their hands were controlled by blue electricity.
Yeah,
kind of like how. Which forms into that arrow, maybe.
It's very cool. Pretty much that's. There's all I can other say is this game just looks fantastic. I mean, there was so much detail in that environment, and this is early footage. I mean, I know it's he's not going to show us much yet, but basically, I cannot wait for the first like true trailer or something. You know, something that goes like, here's a bit of story, here's a bit of gameplay, and just really see what happens. Really. I honestly can't wait. It's so exciting.
You got that? I got your Zelda out of your system.
Yeah, I did. We got to get Metal Gear now. Next, We got our Zelda, we got our Uncharted.
One thing I'm going to ask you about, because you mentioned this earlier, Hyrule Castle.
Oh yeah, so... Hang on, so yeah, right in the distance... I noticed that I now have the environment as my desktop picture because I couldn't resist. But I noticed right in the very distance, it looks like Hyrule Castle is there. Obviously, when I zoom in, it just pixelates, so I can't 100% tell. But I'm pretty sure Hyrule Castle's right at the back in the centre.
Well, seeing where you pointed out where Death Mountain and the lake was,
it would make sense environmentally to Ocarina of Time sort of thing.
Yeah.
And it would just. I mean, it's probably going to be in a castle in it. I mean, heck, the only Zelda that doesn't, I think, is Skyward Sword. But you know, that's to speculate. We also had the theory of. Did we say about it possibly being Zelda's daughter or son? Sorry. No. Okay. Well, but yeah, basically, there's a theory going around online saying that is this possibly Zelda, or is this a relation of Zelda's rather than Link's? Because you're always Link's descendant. Yeah. Maybe you're Zelda, because like in Skyward Sword, there was a lot more romance between Link and Zelda.
Yeah.
Maybe this is their child, sort of thing, because it does look like a mix between Link and everyone says he looks more he or she looks more feminine. Maybe it is a bit more Zelda, you know.
Well, mind you, Link looks feminine as it is. If he,
yeah,
I don't want to see what that kid looks like.
Maybe yeah. I was also thinking as well, he looks very young in this trailer. Maybe we're going to get a bit of Ocarina of Time, and maybe he gets older.
Maybe that's kind of why he looks the way he does, if it is a he,
yeah,
because of how young he is.
But,
maybe he grows up and he has a grizzly beard.
Yeah, that was something we did notice as well. Is when he, you know, when he pulls his cloak off and he's about to shoot the arrow. You notice he's got
That's
like a little. Yeah, that's if it's a he. He's got like that little band around his hair, ponytail, just like Big Boss. Pretty cool to Metal Gear 5. Found it.
Alright then, on that note, should we go in there and get onto our Metal Gear video?
The Legend of Zelda, Metal Gear 5, Skyrim.
Alright,
thanks for watching and listening.
So yeah, that's our Zelda video. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, see ya.
Bye.